sir, and Principal sir. Welcome to the webinar class. This is REKHA RANI, PGT Social, TSRJC, LINGAMPALLY. I'm starting with the chapter 4, Atmosphere. Dear children, you all know that Earth has different domains, and you already studied the important domains of the Earth. That is the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and today we are going to learn about the atmosphere. The left one is the biosphere. Children, today you are going to study about the atmosphere, which is one of the important domains of the Earth. You all know that air is the basic component and integral part of the Earth's surface, and it is essential for the survival of all living organisms. It also provides us the life-supporting gases like oxygen, which is a critical and crucial for all living organisms. With the help of the oxygen only, we are living here, and what we breathe is because of the oxygen. The different gases also had the atmosphere also had different gases, and of air, it forms an envelope that acts as a thin blanket that protects the Earth from harmful ultraviolet rays, cosmic rays from the sun, and it is nothing but the atmosphere. Actually, atmosphere is a thin blanket of air that envelops the Earth, which is protected from the sun, from harmful rays of the sun, and it is the Greek word. It is a Greek word, and it is derived from the Greek word, that is atmos means vapors and sphere is globe. Atmosphere also maintains the temperature of the Earth by trapping the harmful gases like carbon dioxide and other gases in very small quantity. NASA has described the Earth as a big basketball wrapped in thin sheet of plastic. The NASA abbreviation is National Aeronautical Space Agency of USA. It describes the Earth as a big basketball. You may have seen that basketball, which is wrapped in thin sheet of plastic. It looks like that. The Earth looks like that when it is wrapped in an atmosphere. And the Earth is having the atmosphere because of the gravitational pull of the Earth. It is the gravitational pull of the Earth that makes the Earth to stay intact with the atmosphere. The atmosphere helps in different human activities. It helps in flying of the hot air balloons, jet planes, launching of the satellites, and etc. Due to the presence of the atmosphere, we had different climate changes. There's first variation in temperature, rainfall, humidity, moving of winds, ocean currents, and also we had the different crops are growing because of this atmosphere only. We had the variation in temperature, that is daily, the temperatures are changing daily in day-to-day life and depending upon the weather conditions. You may have observed in our daily life that the temperature varies, and in the same manner the rainfall, they usually occur in the rainy season. In India, it is particularly in the monsoon period. It is developed due to the monsoons or the depressions formed between the Bay of Bengal. And next one is the humidity. It is the amount of the water vapor present in air at the same temperatures. And the next one is the moving of winds. Moving of winds is called, moving of air is called wind. It is created when they are having difference in air pressure from one area to another. It makes the air move, creating the winds. With the help of winds also, we are able to get the changing of the temperatures and rainfall, and the humidity also varies. And another important thing, that is the ocean currents. These are the continuous, predictable, directional movement of seawater on the ocean surface, which is driven by the gravitational force of the Earth, wind, and water density. These ocean currents are mainly helpful in maintaining of the atmosphere, weather conditions of the climatic changes on the earth. The world survives because of the growing of essential crops, what we had in our daily life. It is mainly possible because of the presence of the atmosphere. We had the formation of the atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere is comprising of different gases, which are very important for the life or for sustaining life on the Earth. The main one is a mixture of the atmosphere. You already know that atmosphere is a mixture of gases comprising mainly oxygen 21%, nitrogen 78%, and the remaining gases constitute 1%, such as argon, xenon, krypton, helium, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. Carbon dioxide is having 0.03% and water vapor is 0.4%. But carbon dioxide and water vapor are the important gases for the survival of the human beings. This water vapor, it is a gas which has water droplets formed close to the surface of the earth. When it is merged with the dust particles, it forms clouds. You may observe that the clouds having some white crystals, like you may observe that in the sky that have the clouds are moving, the black thick clouds are moving. This having the water droplets in it, and it results in, it gives the rainfall. And sometimes when it is thicker clouds, we had the hailstones, and sometimes due to the uh, human activities and increasing of the pollution or the environmental pollution in the earth, on the earth, we had the acid rains. This acid rains causes great devastation to the human beings, to the life of the on the earth, life on the life human sorry life on the human beings, and also as well as the crops. And because of this acid rains, our agriculture productivity is declined day to day. And we had the dust particles also, which help in the formation of sunrise and sunset. One of the important gases we have is oxygen. What we breathe, it is only 21% of oxygen is present in the atmosphere. It is an important gas for the survival of the human beings. And the next one is the carbon dioxide. Plants use it for preparation of food. This process is called photosynthesis, where oxygen is released as a byproduct. But when we had the carbon dioxide, that's only 0.03% to 0.3%. But due to the anthropogenic activity of the human, that is human beings causing pollution, this carbon dioxide is increasing, it's creating problems to the environment. That is, it is one of the important greenhouse gases that creating the problems or the pollution to the environment because of the human activities. And another important gas, that is a nitrogen. It is the largest proportion of gas present in the atmosphere, consisting 78%. Nitrogen is converted into nitrates by bacteria that is found in root nodules of legumes, which help in photosynthesis. This legumes as a constituent found in all living tissues, and it is necessary for the food production process, and it is essential to the life on the earth. And it is one of the important characteristic of the nitrogen is fixing atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia in the soil, which helps in regeneration of the the soil particles, which help in growing of the crops. The next important gas is the ozone. Ozone, you all know about the ozone. Ozone is present in between the ionosphere layer, it is present in between the troposphere and the stratosphere. It is one of the important gas that protects the earth from the harmful rays of the sun. Okay, and this important gas acts as a screening agent and offers protection from harmful rays of the sun. But due to the human activities and creating and causing environment pollution, this ozone layer is depleting nowadays, and it has more depletion in the near the polar regions than at the tropical regions and at the equator. And in the temperate regions, due to the industrial pollution, this ozone layers has some holes, and these holes are increasing day by day. And due to the holes in the ozone layer, we are facing the harmful ultraviolet directly, and because of this harmful ultraviolet rays, we are having the cancer, the skin cancer. The rate of the skin cancer is going day by day. And coming to the important part of the lesson, the structure of the atmosphere. Based on the chemical composition, temperature, and altitude, the atmosphere is broadly classified into atmosphere, that is homosphere and heterosphere. And homosphere is again divided into the troposphere, stratosphere, and mesosphere. And this heterosphere is again classified into the thermosphere and exosphere. This atmosphere is classified into homosphere and heterosphere based on the chemical constants, that is the nutrient, the chemical constant, the gases, the number of gases present in these layers. The first part of the atmosphere, if we see here, you can clearly see and observe that homosphere as having three important gases, layers, that is troposphere, here up to here, and the troposphere had the stratosphere from 20 kilometers, 18 kilometers to the 50 kilometers, and from 50 kilometers to the 80 kilometers, you had the mesosphere. And this homosphere is extending to a height of about 90 kilometers. It is characterized by uniformity of gases that like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, and CO2, which determines the density of atmosphere. It means that the percentage of the gases in this homosphere are in uniformity. It maintains its uniformity. The percentage of the gases is uniform in this layer. And it has important layers that we already known, that the troposphere, stratosphere, and mesosphere is also the part of the homosphere. The next one is the heterosphere. It is about 90 kilometers. Here. It extends about 90 kilometers. It has a greater variation in the composition of the gases occur in layers. It has contained high proportion of the lighter gases such as hydrogen and it extends from the 90 kilometers and above, and it has a greater variation in composition of gases. It has only two lighter gases, but there is a greater variation in this layer. Okay, next one is, we now clearly differentiate or the classify the Earth's atmosphere or into layers. That is, they are stratified into layers, and we can name it as the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, the thermosphere, and exosphere. You can see the picture here, image, that is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. And here also in the graph also you can clearly see that there is the extension of the troposphere up to the 10 kilometers only, and between the troposphere and stratosphere, here you have the ozone, and from stratosphere to the mesosphere, you have the stratophares, and from mesosphere to the thermosphere, you have the mesophares, and it extends up to the 500 kilometers. Okay, and here the graph is like a sigma. And the first layer of the atmosphere is the troposphere. It is the first layer of the atmosphere, and it gets its name from the weather, which is constantly changing and mixing of the gases. never remains static. Its average height is 13 kilometers and its maximum at the equator and deeper in the tropics up to 20 kilometers and shallow near the polar region at 7 kilometers in summer and indistinct in winter. In India, it is taken to be around 16 kilometers. Actually, this differentiation is mainly due to the bulging of the equator, bulging of the earth. It is like the shape of, actually, it is due to the shape of the earth. It is bulged at the equator and flattened at the poles. The shape of the earth is like a geoid, that is an oblate spheroid. And this mainly is due to this extension of the troposphere, the height changes or varies mainly due to the gravitational pull of the earth. You can see here the troposphere. You have the different climatic conditions are taking place here. This formation of the cirrus clouds here, the water vapor and transport, they are mixing of the currents and the planetary and gravity waves are moving here. Here, the flying of the airplanes. Okay, and we had the methane, water vapor, and ozone also we had here. From the tropics to the middle latitudes and the poles, how it is changes. Here in the tropical region, it extends, it reaches to a greater height, and it here in the middle latitudes, it remains moderate, and in the poles, it is again decreasing. And the third point is that it contains 70% of the total gases and practically all the moisture and the dust particles, because of which the entire weather phenomena happens here. We had the weather phenomena like the formation of the clouds, rainfall, temperature rising, and many changes are taking place of the weather. We had the temperature decreases as we go higher, which is called as a normal lapse rate. Actually, this normal lapse rate is nothing but the rate of the temperature changes with height. On average, the lapse rate of the troposphere is 6.5 degrees. Then the troposphere, here if you observe here the image, the troposphere is the boundary between the troposphere and the stratosphere. It is a region where the troposphere is the region where airplanes fly, because it is the region free of all the gases and disturbances, and it is free of the winds also. That's why here the aeroplanes fly. Next, the second layer of the atmosphere is above the troposphere. It extends up to 50 kilometers above the ground. It is very dry and has water vapor. This layer is ideal for flights as it is above the stormy weather and has high, steady horizontal winds. You can see here this up to ozone layer, you have the aeroplanes, and after that, you had the hot air balloons and jet planes also here, which is free of all the weather disturbances. And because of the horizontal winds also, stormy weather, it is free of all the horizontal and the winds and the stormy weather. We are able to move the jet planes here. And here the temperature increases with altitude. Here you can see the temperature increases with altitude. Here you can see this temperature increases with altitude. And the ultraviolet rays, gamma rays, and X-rays coming from the sun. It contains high-level ozone extending up to 15 to 30 kilometers, which offers protection from harmful ultraviolet rays. As we already studied about the ozone layer or the ozone gas, that is mainly present in the between the stratosphere and the troposphere after the tropopause. And it is the important layer which protects the human life on the earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. And the next one is the stratosphere. It separates the stratosphere and mesosphere. Here in this stratosphere, here you can see here the stratosphere, the hot air balloons are released in the stratosphere or stratosphere, for monitoring atmospheric conditions and climatic research. We had the different atmospheric conditions that prevails in the atmosphere, and we had the variations in temperatures, weather, and the climatic conditions. And because of this changes, and when to predict the atmospheric changes in the on the Earth, we are sending or monitoring the atmospheric. We are sending the air balloons for monitoring and atmospheric conditions and climatic research. The next important layer is the mesosphere. It lies above the stratosphere and extends up to 50 to 80 kilometers. You can see here the mesosphere. It can extend up to 80 kilometers. It is see here. It is extend up to 80 kilometers. Mesosphere. It is the coldest layer of the Earth. It is the coldest layer of the atmosphere. By 80 kilometers, it reaches up to 100 degrees, minus 100 degrees centigrade. Okay, and the next is, in this layer, you have fewer air molecules are present to observe incoming electromagnetic radiation from the sun. Here you can see the children. You can see here it observes the incoming electromagnetic radiation from the sun, and it has a fewer air molecules. It observes this how it is the electromagnetic radiation from the sun, and in this region is also seen the meteoroids. You can study about the meteoroids in the earlier classes in the lower classes. Meteoroids is a piece of the rock which is broken in space. And maybe the like a hard rock, and it is broken in the space, and it travels through atmosphere and in this mesosphere. It burns in this meteoroids burn up in mesosphere and appears as light. It is commonly called as shooting star. Here you can see this, the shooting star called the shooting stars. See here how the meteoroids coming slightly close to the Earth. Sometimes it may reach the Earth, and sometimes it's up in the atmosphere itself only. So when this meteors crash into the Earth's surface, it causes great destruction. Sometimes I already told you that it may sometimes reach the Earth. So it causes destruction to the living organisms, and it really causes natural calamities such as tsunamis. Already know that about the tsunamis. The tsunamis is a huge other large waves coming that from the ocean, which disturbs the life on the Earth. And the next is between the mesosphere and the thermosphere, we had the important layer, the intermediate layer, that is mesosphere. It separates the atmosphere between the mesosphere and the thermosphere. In the mesosphere, the temperature decreases as the altitude increases. Here you can see the temperature decreases as the altitude increases. Next, there is the thermosphere. It extends to 8 to 400 kilometers. It reflects the radio waves. You already know what is radio waves. There are radio waves which are coming, which are helpful of the radio signals from the Earth, and it helps in the ancient time, not ancient times, from the modern day. The modern technology has developed. We are taking the help of the thermosphere, which reflects the radio waves, and we are able to listen to the music, news, everything. Knowing about the different things happening around the world. And in this layer, the temperature increases with altitude up to 300 degrees. It is the thickest layer in the atmosphere. And the thickest layer in the atmosphere, it is easily absorbs the solar radiation. It is easily absorbs to solar radiation. And here you can see the polar borealis occurs in this layer. It mainly is borealis. You learned about aurora borealis and aurora australis in the 8th class. So this aurora borealis, aurora australis is the thermosphere. Okay. Sorry for the disturbance. Uh, we all know that studied about the aurora borealis and aurora australis, which happen to takes place in the polar regions. It is formed in the polar regions in the northern hemisphere or in the poles near the Arctic Circle and in the Arctic Circle near the southern part of the internet connection. Internet connection. And this aurora borealis is the main result of the electromagnetic radiations that is released in the atmosphere in this layer. And because of this atmospheric electromagnetic radiation or the radio waves, it releases the colorful gases into the atmosphere, causing the aurora borealis. It is one of the spectacular events that takes place in these regions. The aurora borealis are important events that takes place in the northern hemisphere, that is near the Arctic Circle, that is in the Norway, Finland, Sweden, Greenland, and in Canada. These are spectacular events. You can see here this aurora borealis here and here also. And the red, it has many different colors like the rainbow, but and in the southern hemisphere also, it has we call it as the aurora australis. In the southern hemisphere, it is we can see the spectacular events as the aurora australis in the countries of New Zealand, Australia, and in Antarctic region. And this layer is also called as ionosphere because this layer is released by the ions. And this ionosphere plays an important role in the life of the Earth. And it can this ionosphere atmosphere and it is fully electrically charged particles and ions. Here you can cancel. The important layer is the ionosphere. It consists of the thermosphere and parts of the mesosphere. It extends from 48 kilometers to 965 kilometers. It is full of electrically charged particles known as ions. These ions are helpful in the protecting the cosmic and the solar radiation. They are formed due to the cosmic and solar radiation, and it helpful for the communication technology, where we are using these radios and also the satellites. And with the help of the satellites, we are able to get the information from different corners of the Earth. And this satellite technology, only we are able to get the information about the weather conditions of the earth, and we are able to learn and know the different layers and different conditions of the earth in different areas and different scenarios also. The next important layer of the atmosphere is the exosphere. It is the outermost layer of the atmosphere. It begins at about 500 kilometers above the Earth and doesn't have a specific outer limit. And it is the first layer of the atmosphere which protects us the harmful rays of the sun. This is the exosphere, is the layer which protects coming from the Earth, which protects the Earth coming from the rays of the sun, the harmful rays. And it is very thin and mostly made up of the helium and the hydrogen ions. And it is mainly made up of the helium and the hydrogen gases. This hydrogen and helium gases helps in the formation of the stars, and the twinkling of the stars is mainly due to the presence of the helium and the hydrogen gases. And these stars also get light from the stars doesn't have the light of its own, but it gets its light from the sun, and therefore the stars are, if you see the stars, we can observe the stars at very greater heights. These stars are present in the exosphere layer. Temperature in this exosphere can reach up to 15 degrees height, and this layer, atoms and molecules escape into space. And above, you see here, it extends if you see this Earth, it extends it is the exosphere here, and it extends above 500 kilometers, and it is beyond the space. Beyond the exosphere, we had the space, and it is and beyond this we had the space. It is darker, and we don't have any gases beyond the exosphere. The important gases in this exosphere is the helium and the hydrogen. And beyond the exosphere also, we don't have the now with the exosphere. This is the end of the first session, and about the first session, we had some important questions. Dear children, you note down these important questions and write down the answers in your books. You can have you write down these questions The important questions here are the first question is what are the important gases of the atmosphere? I explained already these important gases of the atmosphere. If you had any doubt, you can now call me, Adil. Otherwise, you can call your teacher, your subject teacher. Second question is what will happen if water vapor is not present in the air? You already know that what will happen if water vapor is not present in the air. The third question is why is atmosphere important for Earth? You already know that why atmosphere is important for Earth. If atmosphere is not there, what will happen? Is it possible to life on the Earth? You already know what happens if the atmosphere is not there. So write down the notes. Dear children, write down the answers for these questions. And the fourth question is classify the layers of the atmosphere. You had the different layers of the atmosphere. I already explained you, and you know this. You had in the textbooks also the layers of the atmosphere. You had the answers for every questions. We have the answers for the questions in the YouTube also. You can go through this in my YouTube to write down answers. And the fifth question is which layer of the atmosphere is ideal for flying aircrafts and why? Why the aircrafts are flying in the one particular layer of the atmosphere only. So write down the answer for this question also. And the next question is in which layer of the atmosphere does the weather phenomena take place? The last question is in which layer of the atmosphere does it take place? I repeat the questions again. What the first question is, what are the important gases of the atmosphere? Second one is, what will happen if water vapor is not present in the air? Third question is, why is atmosphere important for Earth? Fourth one is, classify the layers of the atmosphere. Fifth one, which layer of the atmosphere is ideal for flying jet aircraft and why? And sixth one is, which layer of the atmosphere does the weather phenomena takes place? Dear children, I hope all of you understand my lesson. If you had any doubts and queries, you can ask me and call me. Thank you.